morning.
I'm so proud of myself.
Alright, so this brings us to Monday, October 14th. We're going to get to a poem called Custard the Dragon, which you guys should have a copy of on there. And then we'll get to our first, chess club. If you're interested, starts up next Monday, I think, something like that. Get signed up for it. All that fun stuff goes until 4 o'clock. Then we have our magic lives for today with our sentence. The pirate came in the window and the dragon ate him. Make sure you put this on the bellwork side. You are claiming that you can do everything.
Yep.
I do like your sassiness. Alright, we'll start off with our parts of speech. Let's go with the, as always, verb first. And what do you have for the verb?
Came.
Good. And there's one more.
Ate.
Nicely done again. So you have came, and then we have ate, and then from there we'll go to nouns. We'll do nouns next.
Pirate.
Good.
Window.
Good.
And dragon.
Nicely done. And then we have one that's like a noun.
Pronoun.
Nicely done. Which one's the pronoun?
Him.
Go you. Now we'll throw in the adjectives.
The.
Good.
The.
Good.
And the.
Tricky stuff. Nicely done. Let's see. Then we have in and left.
Preposition and conjunction.
Nicely done. Preposition, conjunction. So far, doing well. Hopefully you guys did well on that part too. If not, then hopefully you went back and changed them, kept them in their straight lines. Then for our sentence patterns, what do we always start with?
Subject.
Good. And what's our subject going to be?
The pirate.
Nicely done. So subject. There you go. And then what comes after that?
Action verb.
Nicely done. What is our action verb?
Came.
Nicely done. And we have another subject.
Direct object.
Would you go for the direct object? In the window? Is that what you went for?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, so I didn't put it in there because it probably could be. I didn't label that one though. I wasn't sure. I went back and forth. So don't worry about that one. But we do have another subject.
The dragon.
Nicely done. And we have another, what comes after the subject?
What's the OC?
That would be the object complement. And that is something that comes after your direct object.
Yeah. So that's probably not.
That would not be the OC. You're correct. Because what comes after a subject?
Action verb.
Well, or a linking verb. So is this one going to be action or linking?
No, linking.
Is that linking?
Yeah.
What are our options for linking?
Oh wait, no. It's an action verb.
Why? Why do you say it's action?
Because it's doing something.
Nicely done. And now we have one more because we can answer the question. The dragon ate what? Or the dragon ate who? So what we put in that last spot?
Direct object.
That's where the direct object comes in. This one over here, because it's a phrase, I wasn't sure. I'm not going to bother with it yet. I think it could be a direct object. It seemed like it'd just be painful, so I just decided to ignore it for now. But those, I figured we could definitely do. Hopefully that's too much pain. Subject, action verb, subject, action verb, direct object. We're good to go there. Phrases. We have one phrase.
In the window.
Is correct. What kind of phrase?
Preposition.
Nicely done, since it starts with a preposition. Makes a prepositional phrase. Clauses. We have two clauses.
The pirate came in the window.
And what kind of clause is that? Independent or dependent?
Independent.
Good. And what's your next one?
The dragon ate him.
Independent or dependent?
Independent.
Nicely done. So we have two independent clauses. And according to your notes, if you have two independent clauses, independent, what sentence type will it be?
Compound.
Nicely done. So that becomes a compound. And then the last part, what type of sentence is it?
Declarative.
Nicely done. I said, just like that.
Everything I did write down, I got right.
Oh, Grant!
He's being unfair.
How is because he got it right?
No.
That's so awful with him.
No, because he's so much smarter than us.
Unfair use of your intelligence. Nicely done. On the bright side, he doesn't get to do it again because you only get one shot at it, so it is one time.
Ooh,
Each
next
time
time,
we'll go to a new person. We'll find out. Omni!
do we have to take a test over all the magic word notes at the end of the year?
Yes and no. It won't be at the end of the year. It'll start being on your guys' quizzes. I'm going to give on one of your quizzes, one of your 12 questions will be something like this. The sentence, and I will say, what are the two clauses in the sentence? And you'll have to go through there. It'll be something closer to that. But we have a test that's just grammar the whole way through. No. But what I'll do is just baby steps. I'll just put like a question on each quiz to see how well you guys are picking up on it. So that's what we'll do. Does that work for you? Yeah, me too. I figured the same thing. A whole test over it is really boring. But I figured just little bits and pieces, that's much more fun. Out of curiosity, did anyone else get all of it correct? Okay, see? Next time you guys should swing for it then. Get yourself a delicious little bit of minty goodness. But for now, just to remind you, these 4 poems, make sure you are familiar with them coming up for the test on Thursday. Once again, you have a test on Thursday. Just to remind you, we're going to do a poem today, 2 more poems tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to do a review activity, and then Thursday, you guys have the big poetry test. You'll have some questions from poems we've already covered. One, because I think those are easier questions that sort of like to help buffer things. And then these will be ones that we've not read. Spider was on the back of one of your quizzes. I will put more questions from that one. So keep your quizzes, because you'll have some questions that will connect to some of those things in there. And then you have Birdfoot's Grandpa, the listeners, and Casey at the back, which are on the handouts, the ones that we've not had a chance to read yet. So make sure you read those. Hopefully by Wednesday, because in the review activity, there will be questions over these from that. Same thing if you guys did the crossword. You'll see that there are questions from there in those too. Keegan?
On Birdfoot's Grandpa, it's an M, not an N.
Yeah, there's more than one spelling of it. It's okay. So,
are we allowed to use our handouts?
yes. On the test? Yeah, and your notebook, and your crossword. You can use all of that.
Wow.
So, hopefully it helps you. I found that for the most part, I didn't used to, and then I found out that it doesn't really make a difference, because the kids that are smart end up not using it because they've paid attention the entire time anyway. The kids that aren't smart, they have to give them everything, and they have no idea where anything is, so it doesn't help them out anyway. So usually it only slightly bumps up grades. It doesn't make that much of a difference. That's why it doesn't bother me. Devin?
Are we going to be allowed to use quizzes on our test, our old ones, because that's where the spider is?
Once again, probably won't help you too much, but I figure if it does, more power to you. I figured the worst case scenario, you learn to go back and look up stuff, and that's like a life skill you should have, so yeah, we'll move on. We finished limerick with you guys, correct?
Limerick.
Our limerick, we went through and did all those. Some of my classes didn't get as far as making sure we got a chance for you guys to get all that information in there. Then, let's take a look at our poem called The Tale of Custard the Dragon. It's a long one, but fairly easy. I gotta grab my copy of it.
Fairly?
Fairly.
Oh, is it on this 3rd handout?
Uh-huh. Chloe, what's a stanza?
It's a paragraph in a poem.
Nicely done. And how many stanzas do we have in this one?
Oh,
I know, it's a lot, but a lot of fun stuff happens. So, let's get ready to take a look at it. We'll go through there and have, say, 14. Let's do them in groups of 2. So if you want to read, I'll throw 2 stanzas at you and let you guys go from there. Anyone want to read? No? Oh, all right. We'll give you stanzas 1 and 2. And we'll give you stanzas 3 and 4. And then I'll take 5 and 6. Go for it.
I'll do 7 and 8.
7, 8. And 9, 10. 11, 12. And then I'll read 13, 14.
Okay.
Go for it! In our best Custard the Dragon kind of voice.
Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little gray mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and a really truly a little pet dragon. Now the name of that little black kitten was Ink. The little gray mouse she called her Blink. The little yellow dog was sharp as mustard. The dragon was a coward and she called him Custard.
Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath. Mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, and Rulio Trulio daggers on his toes. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage.
Belinda tickled him and merciful. Ink gave the mustard and ruled pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held it in his teeth.
Hang on, you missed suddenly.
Wait, wait.
Bottom of the other column.
Oh.
There you go.
Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. Meouch, cried Ink, and ooh, cried Belinda, for there was a pirate finding Belinda. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood, it was clear that the pirate meant no good.
Who's my next one?
Wasn't me.
Probably.
Belinda paled and she cried, "Help! Help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down the bottom of the household, and little Mouse blinked smoothly the mouse hole. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine, clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. Clatter and a clank and a jangling squirm. He went at the pirate like a robin out of work.
The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. Belinda embraced him, Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and Blink in glee they did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate.
Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and her little gray mouse and her little yellow dog and her little red wagon and her Relio Trulio little pet dragon. Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice, safe cage. The Tale of Custard the Dragon. The first 2 stanzas. I'm not going to go back and read through the whole thing with you guys. It's way too long to try and make that happen. But we'll take it stanzas as we get into it. We introduce where it's taking place and who was in our poem, and then we can go through there and find our wonderful similes and metaphors and fun stuff like that. First character, AK. Who's the first character we get introduced to?
The little black kitten.
Close.
Belinda.
Nice. Well done. And how would you describe Belinda?
She was brave.
Works for me. It's a little girl who's brave. And then who do we have after that, TW?
You have the little black kitten.
And what's the black kid's name?
Ink.
Nicely done. And then after that, Whitney?
Gray mouse.
Named?
Blink.
Nicely done. And that's where we have Blink come in. Sklar?
A little yellow dog.
Named?
Mustard.
Nicely. Mustard. And we have one more character that's going to be in there, McScribbles, and that is?
A dragon.
And his name. There you go. Dragon. Named Custard. Let's see. Good. Oh, the yellow little dog was as sharp as Mustard, which was how he apparently got his name. It tells you the color of the dog. And what color would the dog be?
Mustard yellow.
Nice. So that's just saying the idea of the fact that the dog is like a bright yellow color. It means the sharp, means that sharp color. The same thing. And that would be an example of?
Smile.
Nicely done. By the way, why is this poem already an example of irony?
Because the dragon's the
Omni?
Because the dragon is like sad.
Close.
He like wants a cage.
Nicely done. So what would you call him if he wants a cage? And why is that ironic?
Because dragons are supposed to eat people.
Nicely done. Because the big, tough, mean creature is the wussy one getting bullied by like a mouse. So that's the ironic, the opposite of what you're expecting. So you catch the dragon. Oh, find the similes and metaphors in these. We have a lot already. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him, scales underneath, mouth like a fireplace chimney for a nose, and Relio Trulio daggers on his toes. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chased lions on the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard cried for a nice, safe cage. Our first simile and or metaphor, that's going to be in there. Bella? And is that, we'll do mouth like a fireplace. Is that simile or metaphor? Because it uses what? Because it uses what? Nicely done. Comparing what 2 things? Nicely done. And why are we comparing his mouse to a fireplace? Nicely done. Because he breathes fire. What's our next one that we have on there, Evan? After mouth like a fireplace.
Daggers on. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears.
We have one before that. Actually, we have two before that.
Oh, chimney.
Nicely done. Chimney for nose. Similar metaphor?
Metaphor.
It is a metaphor. Comparing what two things?
Chimney and nose.
And why are we comparing his nose?
Because it blows smoke.
Nice. Well, the smoke comes out of both of them. Our next one that we have, Gabby?
Belinda was as brave as a bear full of
Good. Yep, we have one before that still.
the daggers on his coat.
Nicely done. Similar metaphor.
Metaphor.
Comparing.
The dagger. Oh, I don't know what it's. Wait. Yeah, no, I know what's comparing.
You don't know what's being compared?
No.
What would be your guess?
Like daggers and toes.
Nice. Well, close.
What's wrong?
Because what does he have on his toes?
The dagger.
No.
Well, wait. Oh, claws.
Nicely done. So what two things are being compared?
Oh, daggers and claws.
Nicely done. And why are we comparing his claws to daggers?
Probably because they're sharp.
Nicely done. Either go for the same thing, and you can probably cut thread with them also. And the next one after that we've already said like 3 or 4 times. Bender.
Belinda was as brave as a bear full of bears.
Is an example of
Simile.
comparing.
Belinda to barrel bears.
And what they have in common, they're both?
Tough.
Works for me. I was going to go with brave, but toughness works. And it's an example of something else, too. Chloe,
Alliteration.
why is it an example of alliteration?
Belinda, brave, barrel, bears.
Nicely done. Grant?
We should do impact learning.
No, we should not.
I think, are we a little sleepy this morning? Would that help us learn?
Yes.
There's probably a good chance of that, since we do have a lot more similes and metaphors coming up. That's good thinking. What fun games you guys play. Good. Chased lions. Mustard also is brave. Oh, we do have one more. And what's our next one that's in their socks?
Oh, Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage.
Similar metaphor?
Simile.
Nicely done. Comparing what two things?
The dog mustard and a tiger.
And what they have in common, they're both
Brave.
nicely done. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him, unmerciful, ink, blink, and mustard. They rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon at the realio, trulio, cowardly dragon. Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and Blink said, "Wee," which is giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age, when Custard cried for a nice safe cage. That Percival thing is basically a way of making fun of him, because the nickname, if your name is Percival, what's the shortened form? Like it goes from Matthew to Matt. If it goes from Andrew to Andy, it goes from Percival to, nicely done, Percy, which up until the son of Neptune, Mr. Jackson, came along, was considered sort of a wussy name. If you've read the Harry Potter books, the Weasley brother Percy was the one that they made fun of and had issues. So here it was that idea, they're calling him Percival, was like calling him a big fat wussy pants. So they're making fun of him, going back to the whole irony thing. And then it says, Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age. What does that imply? You guys know what they're trying to do there? Socks.
They're trying to call him a baby
Why?
because he's a coward.
Nicely done. And that's they're basically calling him a big baby because he's asking for a cage. Baby want a cage? And giving him a hard time. Because that's what you do with dragons that cry. Yes?
Percival's one of Dumbledore's middle names, and he's not one.
Okay. I accept that. Was it his first name?
No.
There you go. It was Albador, or Albadus, or
Albus.
close enough for me. And there's all of them. Suddenly they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. Meouch! Cried Ig. Ooh! Cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held his teeth, a cutlass bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. We introduce a new character into our poem. And who's our new character we introduce, Luke?
Pirate.
The pirate. Now, before we figure out who the pirate is, Winda. And what is a Winda? Apparently that's how pirates get into our house. Luke?
A window.
And why do they call it a window as opposed to a window? Would window be easier?
Because it rhymes with Belinda.
Nicely done. The whole rhyming with Belinda thing. So that becomes our window. And that would become our pirate that's coming through. Let's see. Pistol on his left, pistol on his right. Do you guys know what a cutlass is? If he has a cutlass in his mouth. Little.
It's like a short sword.
It is. Nicely done. The short little pirate sword thing. I couldn't do a beard, but I could do one leg. I couldn't do. I used to have a leg on there that was wood. One leg was. Oh, it was clear that the pirate meant no good. Meaning, is it a friendly pirate or unfriendly pirate?
Unfriendly.
Unfriendly pirate. Unlike those friendly ones that come into the house and give you high fives. Belinda paled and she cried, "Help! Help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and Little Mouse blinked strategically mousehold. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine, clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. With a clatter and a clank and a jangling squirm, he went at the pirate like a robin at a worm. Morning! What's up?
I have the detention.
Nicely. Is your name on it?
No.
Oh. So you want to go back and come back to me after class with your name on it?
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah. It's a good try, though. I'm proud of you for at least getting that far. Silly student. Let's see. So there, the terrified, the ink trickled down. So as the pirate shows up, what do all of our brave animals who made fun of the dragon do, Scully? Nicely done. That's for the running away, the mouse holing, and the running, and the fleeing. But then we have up jump Custard snorting like an engine, and for that one, Chloe, is that a similar metaphor?
Simile.
Because it uses
Like,
comparing what two things?
or Custard snorting to an engine.
And what do they have in common?
They're both like loud.
Works for me.
And
Nicely
rumbly.
done. And our next one, clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. Keegan, what's that?
Irons in a
Similar metaphor.
Simile.
Using what word?
Like
Comparing what two things?
his tail to irons in a dungeon.
Do you know what irons in a dungeon are?
Chains.
Nicely done. It's those little irons. People get hung up there, and they have their little hands, and they shake them around. No, and it makes a little clanky, clanky sound. Apparently, that's what his tail sounds like because
I've
it's
done
got
research on
things
it.
all over it. With a clatter and a clank. Oh, we have one more. He went at the pirate like a robin at a worm. Patty, similar metaphor.
Similar,
Using what word?
like
Comparing what two things?
pirate and a robin.
Comparing the pirate to the robin. Custard, okay.
And a robin.
Nicely done, because what do they both do?
Chase the prey.
Good, and then do what to it?
Eat it.
Nicely done, Patty. And so he runs at him, and the pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. Belinda embraced him, Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and Blink and Glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. You guys know what a pocket flagon is, if that's what he has. Bevan?
It's like a drink holder that fits in the bottle.
Nicely done. The flagon is has like a little lid on it, so they usually use it on pirate ships and stuff. Aww. You'll have to make sure that you know the end of the poem because it'll be on the test. We got as far as we could. Other than that, run away.
How did he get a drink? He had a blade in his mouth.